The Archenemy. There are some things in life that can be understood fully only by comparison to their opposite. Some call that conceptual polarity. For example, can one really know what truth is without also knowing what it is to lie? Does beauty require the existence of ugliness to be truly comprehended? Does good need bad? I think you get the idea. The Greek philosopher Plato thought that anything that comes to be comes from its opposite. Thus, good comes from evil, and therefore cannot exist without it. All very interesting on a conceptual level, but in practice, in the reality of the Caswell gang, it all came down to this. Tom Ryan was our leader, the one we looked up to, the one we followed willingly or otherwise. He was our superhero. And all superheroes need an archenemy. Without one, they simply cannot exist as champions of truth, justice, and the Tom Ryan way. Our walk to school was always an adventure. 1 mile, 15 minutes, that was our goal, set by Mary, the mistress of efficiency, and so decreed by Tom, king of the Caswells. Mary said that even old people like Granddad could walk a 15-minute mile. After all, it was only 4 miles an hour. For me, that was more a trot than a walk, but I kept up. Tom said that any of us who couldn't were out of the gang. I remember it being Wayne who complained about that the loudest, but Tom told him he could walk it backwards faster than that, and even proved it once just to shut him up. That's what real superheroes are made of. After crossing Connor Road, the only main road between us and our objective, we had several choices of ways to get to school that were pretty much all the same distance. It didn't matter particularly which one we took, or as Tom said, all roads might lead to Rome, but every one of them goes by way of St. Catherine's. But every morning we'd argue about it. Mary's boyfriend lived on Wayneville. We should go that way so Billy could walk with us. Some third graders were picking on Braithwaite's little cousin, so we should take Pinehurst and let him tag along. Someone had thrown a rock through a window on Piedmont. That would be cool to see. Tom listened to us all, and once in a while he would even acquiesce, but his was the final say, and nearly every day we took Hasty Road. No one argued with that choice. Everyone knew why. That was where his archenemy, Frankie Marks, hid out. Frankie Marks. Just say his name, and that's enough to make Tom's blood boil. Tom said Frankie was too smart for his own good. The only boy with straight A's in the 6th grade. Didn't he realize how tough that made it on everyone? And Frankie was his own public relations department, complete with loudspeaker and regular public service announcements. I got an A on the spelling test, Tom. What did you get? Worse, Frankie was the teacher's pet. Every teacher's pet. He had that market cornered, and was even voted by the gang most likely to open a pet store before he was 12. All the girls liked Frankie, too. Every day his mom packed extra Kit Kat bars for him to give to his favorite girlfriends. They fawned over him, and they fought over them. Every day. It was disgusting. He had cornered the market on girls, too. And worse still, Frankie was a blabbermouth. No secret was safe with him. Not even guy secrets. There was nothing about Frankie Marks to like, and everything to hate. It was conceptual polarity at its finest. Good versus evil, right versus wrong, superhero versus supervillain. Tom's battle against Frankie had been going on for as long as they'd known each other. 5 years. 5 years is forever to a kid. That was half of Tom's life. Quite a sacrifice to make, even for a superhero, to give up half his life for such a noble cause, even if it meant ridding our world of a straight-A's, teacher's pet girl-stealing blabbermouth. But even superheroes and their gangs need a break, and we got one every summer. An unofficial truce was called. Nothing was signed, no handshakes, nothing like that, but everyone knew there was an armistice between Tom and Frankie during the summer. Things got a lot quieter at home, too. Sam and I heard less of Tom's scheming through the keyhole of his bedroom door, and oddly, not as many of our toys wound up broken. And things were about as normal could be at the Ryan household. I think Tom found it easier to ignore Frankie then, especially since Frankie spent most of his summers either away at Camp Fatima, traveling with his family around the country, or staying with relatives in New York City. That's where he had special boogers implanted in his nose, ones that made him say he liked looking at art and listening to opera more than playing baseball and kick the can. Though we almost always took the hasty route, we rarely saw Frankie Marks. Archenemies are like that, nefarious, elusive, and shadow-born. When Tom talked about things like that at our secret meetings, he usually left out the fact that Frankie's dad dropped him off at school on the way to work. But even knowing that, we always fanned out in scout formation when we rounded the bend at the top of the hill near Frankie's house. I mean his secret hideout, and approached with caution. All but me, that is. I was the decoy, in case it was a clever trap, so I was right out in the open. "Hi, Harry, where's your brother?" Some decoy. I was too busy kicking dandelion heads to notice Tom frantically giving me the "get down" sign from the bushes. Bonnie Shadle was standing right in front of me by Frankie's driveway. Bonnie was the prettiest girl in 6th grade, hands down. She had long brown hair and big eyes and a nice smile. Tom was in love with her, and we all thought he would secretly marry her someday. That's why we never, ever went by her house on the way to school, or even suggested it. You can't show girls you like them. Superheroes don't do that. "Hi, Bonnie, he's over there." I pointed right to the gang's hiding place, not having quite acquired the cunning of a 6th grader. "What are you doing?" She patted me on the head. "You're such a little cutie. I'm waiting for Frankie. He asked me to go to school with him." "Frankie?" My eyes shot a look of panic toward Tom. I could see he'd heard. He came running out of the bushes. Bonnie waved to him. "Hi, Tommy." She blushed. Sam was the one who explained girl signals to me when I finally got to 6th grade, but just then I thought Bonnie might have something catching, so I backed out from under her hand. "Hi," Tom waved back. They looked at each other for a minute. Tom kicked a stone down the street. "I can kick the same rock all the way to St. Cath's and still get there in 15 minutes. Want to see?" "I wish I could, but unfortunately she is going to school with me, Ryan." It was him, Frankie Marks, the archenemy, appearing from the shadows to confront his nemesis. I backed farther away. I knew better. I'd read the Superman comic where Jimmy Olsen had got stuck between Superman and Ultra-Humanite, the criminal mastermind with the super intellect, the one even Superman had trouble with. "You're going with him?" Tom seemed weak, like Frankie had just tricked him into picking up a box of kryptonite. Bonnie flashed a quick "sorry" smile. Kate explained that one to us later at the cherry tree. It made Tom feel much better then, but just now he was helpless. The garage door opened, and Mr. Marks backed his car out. Frankie grabbed Bonnie by the arm, and just that fast they were gone. And we all saw clearly that day what it really meant to be a superhero by seeing what it's like to lose to your archenemy.